Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And our broadcast is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the gift segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you who have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment. And those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, you have continued to be supporters of the broadcast. So we thank you for your support and for all of your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, we are in the midst of a FijiWater.com sponsored promo. So all you have to do is go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. The first three songs you hear at 12 noon or at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, list those songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will have the opportunity to be selected to win a case of Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, from FijiWater.com. To date, we have a winner from South Carolina, one from Pennsylvania, and our most recent one from New York. And so for all of you, get in where you fit in. Go to WKAPFaith.com, our internet radio station. The first three songs you hear at 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. List those songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. And for all of you, you've asked for it, you're going to get it. We are going to be announcing our 1 hour broadcast in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. That's what you've been asking for. So we are going to go to 1 hour in July. We will name the date for you coming up. Stay tuned in. You don't want to miss this. We're going to have a great time being with you on the air in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, for 1 hour from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your son is extremely successful. You said, however, he has fallen into the trap of flaunting his success. You said, what can you do to get him to humble himself? You cannot get him to humble himself. Life will do it. He's either going to make a decision to humble himself, or life will do it for him. Listen, it's one thing to enjoy, and I think you may be being a little hard on him in the sense of you just don't want him to get caught up, and I get that. But it's one thing to enjoy your success. It's another thing to flaunt it. Now you said, he's doing all of the wrong things. He's buying, a lot of different cars. He's, going on a lot of different trips. He's hanging out with a lot of different women because he's single. And you said he's just flaunting it, trying to catch, is what you said in your communication. But here's the reality. Life happens to us all. He'll get it. He'll realize that, there's an old term we use, rich is loud. There's an old adage that says, rich is loud, wealthy is quiet. And eventually, and it's going to cost him some money because he's going to do what he's doing. He's been doing it for a little while now because, he's had some ongoing success. But here's the reality. At some point in time, he's going to realize that all the money that he's wasted, that is not being invested, is not productive. And then he's going to reel it in. And when he does, he'll get back to the place of humility. And he'll get back to the place of understanding that he's been given an opportunity that, many people don't have that opportunity. You sign a contract to play professional sports, and all of a sudden it looks, so I'm going to walk you down this lane. All of a sudden it looks really good, but what people don't realize, so let's say this, he's been playing professional sports for several years now. He said he's been, he's had some success, and, he's just playing the field. But the reality is that won't last, because sports will come to an end. And you said he's gotten in the trap. So what people don't realize is even with these sports contracts, you don't get the whole dollar amount of the contract. You sign a contract for, and I'll just use a number, 4 years for $20 million. That's $5 million a year. They don't give you $20 million up front unless they give you guaranteed money, signing bonus. There's some dynamics there. But you've got taxes, agent fees, so about half of that is automatically gone. Now in his mind, because of the number, 50% left over after taxes, agent fees, the state that he lives in, he still sees that as a big number. And it's a big number if you manage it correctly, invest it correctly, and you can live on that for a long period of time. But that money has to continue to grow. It can't, if you're not getting a return on the investment, return on your money's not on a mission, it's not going to last for very long. But life happens to us all. And I certainly don't wish any injury on him. But if an injury were to occur, he'll have what he's guaranteed. But beyond that, he's not going to be making any more money from that particular career. Now, you said he's extremely successful, so you're looking at it from the eyes of a mother who now has a son who's playing professional sports. And that's successful if you can make it last long term. You can take care of your body, prevent the injuries. One of the things, and let me say this, one of the things that professional athletes have to focus on instead of the trappings is how much money do I need to spend on my body to extend my career past 3-4 years. 4 years, whatever the number is, that's one contract. And if that contract starts at 21, you're 25. What do you do with the remainder of that career? So let's say you can extend that career out. Let's say that he can possibly extend that career out by taking better care of his body, by the right nutrition, working out, working with the trainers, doing all of the things necessary to extend the career. So let's say he gets a second contract. Now you're maybe another 4 years into it. So now you're 8 years into the league. And so he's done that. But now can he get another 4 years? And that would take him to 12 years. Now you're talking about 33 years of age. And you got to remember that whatever he does, that money has to last him for a very long time. And yes, he can make more money, but you can't make more money if all you're doing is playing the field. He's got to put that to work for him. He's got to make certain that his money goes on a mission. You can't humble him. Life will do that. You can have conversations with him that will allow him to think differently. However, you cannot humble him. You can talk until you have changed colors. You can talk while you're banging your head on a brick wall. None of that is going to change his state of mind. The only thing that's going to change his state of mind is his desire to make change. And life will create a desire for you. So life will humble us all in some way. Sickness, injury, family issues, family matters. There's a lot of things that will go on that will humble us in life. And then we have to take a step back, and then we have to move forward. Don't worry about him because you're praying for him. If you pray, why worry? What you can do is have conversations with him. Very gentle conversations, just talking points. Something you say may prick his spirit, something you say may give him an idea to change what he's doing, the way he's doing it. And then, at the end of the day, just pray. Because prayer works. Prayer works. And just have conversations. You might be able to give him some guidance that will help him get back on track. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And I am going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do, this segment of the broadcast is going to be brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you are in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, you can simply go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the general manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that someone assists you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you are currently a Porsche owner and just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner vehicle to you, and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are 40 years, you said you're 40 years old. So you're 40 years of age and are not living the life you desire to live. You said you're single, successful, and alone. So I'm going to say this to you. If you're not living the life you want to live, you must make the changes that are necessary to change your life. You must make the changes that are necessary to get you to the place that you desire to live. And so I'm going to say this. You've got to decide what you want to accomplish. You've got to decide how you are going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You've got to decide both personally and professionally what you want to accomplish. The reality is that when you have a clear picture of what you want to accomplish, when you have a clear picture, you understand that you have work to do. You understand that there's work to be done. You understand that if you don't know what you want to accomplish personally and professionally, you have no plan to work from. So you've got to make sure that you are developing a plan and that you're working the plan. You've got to make certain that everything you desire for your life becomes part of your plan. The reality is that so many people don't make a plan. And one of the things that, look, everything we do, we have to plan out. So everything that is necessary to be planned, you've got to write it out. You've got to make sure that you write out exactly what you want to accomplish, personally and professionally. You've got to make certain that what you want to accomplish is feasible. So think about this. When we don't like the life we're living, we have to make changes. We have to make decisions that sometimes we don't like to make because we feel comfortable. We're in our comfort zone. We don't want to be trapped in a comfort zone. We want to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is begin by doing this. Identify what you want to accomplish in life, and then identify what you don't like about the life you're living. That's going to help you begin to make the changes. You know, people call it pros and cons, but that's not reality. You've got to be very specific by identifying what you want to accomplish personally and professionally. And then you have to be honest with yourself and decide what you don't like about your life personally and what you don't like about your life professionally. You've got to make certain that you're very specific so that you can make specific changes. You can't just decide I don't like my life, but I'm not willing to make any changes. And I'm taking you slow through this because it's real important that we understand that there are things that every one of us do not like about ourselves, because none of us are perfect. Every one of us has something that we would like to change about ourselves. It doesn't necessarily mean about your life, it just means about ourselves. But once we're honest with ourselves, with ourselves, we can then begin to be honest about what we like and what we dislike about our lives. And then we can work on those changes. Because life isn't perfect. You know, it's very interesting. I'll share this. I was taking a health assessment yesterday. And it asked a question that I had to really ponder, and I had to really examine. And we should be doing that all the time, but I was taking a health assessment yesterday online from my health insurance company. And one of the questions was, and I'll paraphrase, but how do you feel about your life? Are you dissatisfied? Are you slightly satisfied? Are you mostly satisfied, or are you completely satisfied? So, you know, I was able to eliminate not satisfied. I was able to eliminate, you know, slightly satisfied, because that's not true. I got to mostly satisfied, and then I got to completely satisfied. And one of the things that I had to change is that there are moments when I feel completely satisfied. But I've realized that there's always going to be the possibility for more growth in me. Doesn't mean my surroundings. My surroundings, you can be completely satisfied in one area of your life and mostly satisfied in another area, because you realize there can be some more growth. There's always, none of us are perfect. There's always something that we can do to become a better version of ourselves. So instead of, even though my immediate response was, I'm completely satisfied, I realized I'm content. I had to pause and think about this. I'm content where I am, but I realized there's more that I can do to be a better version of myself. So I had to put mostly satisfied. And I struggled with that. I spent some time with that. And as a matter of fact, I even had to have a conversation. I had a conversation with my wife about it, because I'm like, I'm completely satisfied with what God has done in our lives, but there's more that can be done to be a better version of myself. So I'm mostly satisfied, because I realize there's always room for improvement. That's an old cliche, but it's real. There's always room for improvement. And the improvement is that I want to be a better me. You know, I want to be the best version of myself that I can possibly become. So I'm content, but I'm not complacent. So I had to check mostly satisfied, and it takes me to where your communication is right now. You say you're not living the life you want to live. If you're not living the life you want to live, you must make the changes you desire, and you can do that. You can do that because you're now examining yourself. You now have made a decision that there are some things that you would like to change, and that's part of the good news of life. When Christ said he came that we might have life and that we might have it more abundantly, he was saying, I'll show you the way if you'll follow me. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. We all desire, or should desire, to be more effective and efficient in business. Comcast Business gives you the opportunity to do just that. Call Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope, and with a qualifying gig bundle, you will receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card at Comcast Business. Call Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope. And with that qualifying bundle, you will receive a $800 prepaid Visa gift card. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Nike Golf. If you're in any way interested in the game of golf, go to nike.com/golf. You will see everything that Nike has to offer to give you the opportunity to experience the game of golf. And if you are just in the market for new athletic wear or equipment, go to nike.com. They have everything you could possibly need to enjoy or enhance the quality of your life. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you do not have much in common anymore with your group of friends, since the things they want to do are no longer of interest to you. You said your life is now focused on your quality of life. So I know you've been watching the broadcast continuously because that's what we talk about frequently. You also indicated in your communication that you tune in. You're not in our area. You're actually in Florida. Thank you for tuning in. But you tune in for the Sunday sermon also. So thank you for being with us always. And thank you for being part of the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Listen, one of the things you talked about in your communication is that you're really focused on your quality of life. Your friends, you said, are still in the frame of mind of doing everything that is the new trend. That's what you said. You talked about the new trends. Sometimes what happens in life is that we not only grow up, but we grow at a faster pace than some others. You know, you talked about how you've been working on your relationship with the Lord, and because of that, and you said some really kind things and about our broadcast and the Sunday sermon, and that, you know, that's to God be the glory. But having said that, sometimes we grow at a faster pace than others. And just because they're doing what you've always done doesn't mean you can't love them. However, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to take them with you on the journey you're going. See, what happens when we develop a relationship with the Lord, we begin to excel to a higher trajectory. We begin to go to the next level in our lives. We begin to live and move and have our being. Let me go there. So what happens is your friends are still at this level and you have gone to the next level, maybe the level above that, and perhaps the level above that. And now you're looking from 2 levels above and looking at what they're doing, and it just doesn't interest you anymore. And you still love them, but you realize you can't spend as much time with them as you once did. And the reason is because you're doing things at a whole different level. You're doing things that are extraordinary and they're still doing what's ordinary. It doesn't make them bad people. It just means that you're at a different place in life. And that's okay. It's okay, and you don't have to feel any sense of guilt about it, because you need to know that every one of you are where you are supposed to be right now on this journey in life. God is taking you to a different place than they are not just capable, but ready to go. Because God is not